Good morning. It is 5:40. We are walking out the door. We're going to go check out the Pantheon and at least the Trevi Fountain, hopefully with no huge giant crowds. If we're lucky, we'll be able to swing by the Spanish Steps, and then we are on our way to have breakfast at the Vatican.
This is more like it.
Much better.
Nobody here. Just get up super early. Definitely get there super early because it is so empty. This is how I would recommend everyone do this because it's so nice just not to have to deal with the crowds. Definitely keep your eyes out, just in case, but we haven't had any problems. Now we're going to head to
Trevi Fountain and hopefully see that for like 3 seconds before we got to get to the Vatican.
And hopefully that's also empty. That's beautiful.
I'm so glad that we came early. I'm a little bummed that we're pressed for time. I'd have loved to sit here and just stare at it for longer.
Should take pictures for hours.
I could.
It's absolutely gorgeous. Get here early because there's a decent crowd even now. So
And it is currently 6:15. So if you can get here by 6 o'clock, 5:30, 6 o'clock, I think you'll have a good chance at getting some good pictures.
Everybody was super polite. We didn't really get in each other's way very much. And people even took pictures of us, so that's nice.
Yeah, it was nice. We kind of swapped phones to take everybody's pictures, so that's really cool. Just be careful of people distracting you in that way as well. We've heard that's like a common pickpocketing tactic. So just be cautious.
Now we're going to head to the Spanish Steps.
We're going to run over there, take 3 photos, and then book it to the Vatican. So
we have a 30-minute walk to the Vatican. So we're getting our exercise on this morning.
Let's go.
Spanish Steps. Come early. This is amazing.
Well, that's the Spanish Steps now. We have a
38-minute walk to the Vatican, and we are going to be cutting it close. So as much as I wish we could just stay here and chat about these beauties, we gotta run.
We gotta go. Go, go, go.
We're a little bummed that we don't get to spend nearly as much time at these places as we would like to, but we're also not sure if we're gonna have a chance to come back. So I'd rather see it and breathe it for 2 minutes than not at all.
Also, this is kind of like a scouting trip because we're going to go to the wedding and then we're going to come back here for a little while. So hopefully
we get to spend some more time, learn some more history about some things.
Maybe find stuff that we want to actually come back and spend some more time at. But right now, we're just booking it today.
Seeing and running. Just blowing and going. That's all we're doing today. making pretty good time, so decided to slow down and take in the view a little bit. We made it with 3 minutes to spare. Okay, so we just got in. You have to come through security because the Vatican is its own country. If I'm understanding correctly, I'll correct it down here if I'm wrong, but the Vatican became its own country in 1929. And so I think that's when a lot of this, like the outer wall, there's like a huge gate with Raphael and Michelangelo, and I think that's when that was built or put out. Anyways, they decided to put all of their private art collection on display to charge people to come in so that the Vatican and the church could have an income, I guess. So she was saying that this entrance was built in 2000 because the old gate that we walked by earlier couldn't handle the amount of people. They average 40,000 a day that come into this museum. But to build this, they had to like carve out part of the Vatican Hill. So this is built underneath a bunch of 15th, 17th, 16th century buildings that are still up top. So every two people gets their plate to share, and then it looks like there's like pancakes and yogurt that you can go up and get yourself. There is somebody walking by offering coffee. The other two people we're sharing our table with are very concerned on if they'll get coffee, but it looks like you will.
It's very good.
We just finished up breakfast. They had a pretty decent spread. They bring most of it to your table. There are a lot of pigeons and there are a lot of bees, so keep that in mind. The bees generally aren't bugging you. They just sort of want to pick around your plate. The pigeons, though, if one person gets up from your table, they will take that seat and they will take it with a vengeance. So watch your plates. If somebody gets up from your table, the pigeons will be in it in a hot second. You're not allowed to film or take pictures or talk really even in the Sistine Chapel, so we're learning tons about it before we actually go in. Some of the things that we're learning are absolutely fascinating, like how the very last thing that Michelangelo painted in there, one of the cardinals who was like super, super high up didn't like that everybody was naked, and so he told him, you need to cover up all of these people, or when the Pope dies, who's very old, I'll be in charge next and I will take it all down, I will cover it all. And so we said, oh, okay, sure, I will do that for you. And then the guy left, and instead of covering everybody, he added down in the corner, which was like hell, that cardinal naked. Hilarious, just the pettiness of it all. But it's amazing. Hopefully we're going to get to go in next and go see it. I was hoping we were going to get to do that before all the crowds showed up, but we're busy now. So we'll see what it's like in there. We just wrapped up our tour. It ended here in the Basilica. We, on our own, went down to see the, I don't know if it's called the crypts or if there's another name for it, but it's where all the Pope's tombs are. And now we're in line to see if we can go up in the dome. Hopefully they take credit card because we don't have any cash. We're gonna try. So far, this tour has been amazing. Our tour guide was phenomenal. She just had so much information. I really appreciate that she taught us more about the paintings of the Sistine Chapel before we actually went in so that we could really understand what we were looking at and what made Michelangelo so great as a painter. It was phenomenal. We learned so much. I could sit here for 3 hours and regurgitate it to you, but instead I'm just going to recommend if you get to Rome, take a tour, ask a million questions. You'll get so much information. We got our 2 tickets. You could buy with the elevator or without the elevator. The elevator is 10 euros, which we did. It saves you about 200 steps. You still have to go 300 and change stairs once you get out of the elevator, but we figured with all the stairs in Korea and all the stairs we're still going to do here in Italy, we'll take the break.
I thought that the elevator would be quicker and save us some time. However, there seems to be a giant line for the elevator, so I'm kind of wishing we just took the stairs.
We very much could have been well on our way up those stairs by now.
This is where the elevator drops you off. We are going to get some water and a little refreshments place behind us. And then we're going to go check out the dome. And if we're feeling feisty, we're going to go all the way to the top. We're inside the dome now of St. Peter's Basilica. We're about to go out and check out the view from up here. The letters below us, when we were downstairs, we were told are 6 feet tall. So that kind of gives you a scope of how high up we are. The reason that you can take pictures in here is because nothing is a painting in here. Every single image that you see is a mosaic. It's baffling to think how much work and effort went into every single one of these, not only around us here, but up above and down below. So I was trying to explain it when we came up here, but I was a little bit rushed about the lettering around the outside of the dome here. For scale of size, those letters are 6 feet tall. The top of this canopy that's below us is the size of a 10-story building in height. I think it's almost 30 meters tall. The scope of this place is unreal. Even standing in it and experiencing it, my brain still can't comprehend the size. I love all these tight, narrow staircases. That was 100% worth it.
Worth all the euros. It was very hot and sweaty up there.
Very warm, very tight spaces. So if you don't like tight, cramped quarters with lots of people in it, maybe pass.
But
at least on the going into the outside. Coming up and just seeing the inside, that was pretty nice. There's not a lot of people.
But definitely take the elevator if you're not up for the constant walking, because it was a lot.
It's a lot of stairs. Just for scale, this brown wooden structure behind me is the canopy that I was talking about earlier. That's 10 stories tall. The letters above the archway are 6 feet tall, and the railing just above that is where we were standing.
We have looked at as much as we possibly can. I think this is one of those places, Lydia put it very easily just a few moments ago, that you can spend a couple days in just staring at all the detail.
And still not see it all. There's a ridiculous statistic that I will put in down here somewhere of the amount, if you spent like X amount of time looking at each piece of artwork that the Vatican has to offer in all of its museums here, like the amount of years you would spend here looking at artwork, and I believe it. Just being in this one building, the amount of beauty here, in the sculptures, the mosaics, even the floor, everywhere you look is incredible.
Unless you just happen to know everything about this place, which some people do, I would highly suggest either a guide or an audio guide, because there's so much that you can miss. And then a guide is great because you can actually ask a lot of questions too as well.
Our guide was phenomenal. She had so much information, especially on Michelangelo and the way that he painted. She put it really beautifully at one point. There's a difference between like perfection in art and then beauty and soul in art, and that Michelangelo painted so differently from his pictures weren't like perfect, but they gave so much more depth, and they expanded on the way that people saw art and made art. And it, like, you hearing her say that and then looking at so many paintings side by side, it made so much sense to me. It was worth it for me to get a guide. Highly recommend a guide.
That kind of wraps us up here. We're going to go ahead and walk back to the room. We've actually got some work to do, so we're going to probably settle down for a few hours before later tonight, where we have a food tour, which we're very excited about.
It's a 4-hour walking food tour, and I could not be more excited.
We're going to try not to eat anything and go really hungry.
Yes. And on one final note here, we will give you just a pan of what we can see from where we are standing in one small portion of this basilica, just so you get an idea of how much there is to see here and how this is only one building of many, many, many there are to walk through in the Vatican. If you like museums and history, you don't have to be a religious person at all to walk into this building and appreciate the work and art that went into making it.